Hello, we're on live, and we
Oh my
just
God.
realized we forgot to change the description. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah. So, if you're reading this or watching this live, this is not live and unscripted. It's Thursday, September 21st. Hey, huge shout out to one of our rebels, Shawnee Lynn. It's her birthday. Happy birthday.
Everybody.
Um, and because it's Thursday, it means it's Leah's Day, and we're doing creative unraveling. I can hardly wait. I did ask for a nap though, that I take a nap because I was feeling a little not feeling under the weather. You know, when you just kind of your head feels kind of buzzy, and I haven't been drinking. I don't drink. But you wake up and your sinuses are just kind of funky and your body's tired. I slept until 8:30 this morning. I never do that. And I was feeling tired. So thank you, Leah, for giving me an extra hour so I could lay down and have a nap. Um, but it's Thursday. It's Thursday. I love Thursdays, and I also have reservations for Thursdays. Although the reservations are getting, are they? I must admit they are getting far less, just because I'm able to. I'm just able to give myself some extra grace that I wasn't able to before, and just I've learned to have a little bit more fun with the process and just be with it. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to practice each Thursday and to be a live guinea pig and to share my thoughts as we go through this. And I hope that you, as the watcher, painter, no matter what level you're on, especially if you're a beginner or any kind of recovering perfectionist, that you find these helpful for you as well. You can go back into The Righteous Rebels and watch our what did we call that? It's like our 5-minute series. P.S. They're not 5 minutes.
No, they're never 5 minutes. It's
De-stressing.
meditating with
Yeah.
watercolor or something.
De-stressing with watercolor. Those are really
That's it.
fun. Or you can go back through the Righteous Rebels page on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. For those of you who are coming to us from LinkedIn or YouTube, thank you very much. If you're not a member of our Righteous Rebels Facebook group on Facebook, head on over, click the button, bink. And wait, you got to do this, bink. And
And
let us know that you want to be a part of it and share your magic inside there. That is where you can go back and find our Thursday unraveling, creative unraveling sessions. Maybe in the nearish future we'll find a home for those on the website as well. But for
yeah,
now,
I've been working on that. I just don't
yeah,
have it quite published yet. But
yep.
yeah.
Our
Yeah,
live
creative unraveling is all around. I got into watercolors as a way to calm anxiety and just work through some emotions. And did you hear that slam?
No, I was
That,
laughing that it calms your anxiety because it sometimes causes me to feel more anxious. So
right?
I'm learning. I'm learning.
It's so funny because I used to really struggle with a lot of chatter, and I've had some really like super emotionally charged thing like a pet passing or just like I'm having a really anxious day, and I discovered watercolors kind of by accident and just found it calmed that chatter in me, and so that's why I like to offer these on Thursday, and I appreciate Jen has a different perspective and she can share her process in that as she learns to unwind with that. So yeah, all you need is some watercolors, a paintbrush, watercolor paper, and today actually a Sharpie. A bullet point Sharpie is, I recommend that today. Um,
I've
and
never
because
heard
it's
that called a bullet point Sharpie before.
yeah.
Look at what I've already learned. I guess it's different. Well, see, mine's not though.
Oh, it will be. That's a brand new one. That's all. And
Okay.
I think it's so interesting because on your birthday, it was a Thursday, and now Shawnee's birthday is a Thursday. So shout out to Shawnee, happy birthday!
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
well, I remember because she came on and we did the happy
We,
birthday hat and all the things.
right? All the
Yeah,
things. The surprise
yeah,
guests 2 weeks in a row.
yeah. It was awesome. All right, so I'm gonna switcheroo to the webcam.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. All right, so here you just see my piso paper.
I love the
And
edges of your paper.
I know I am in love with this book. It's actually a book that in just makes me want to play in there. Oh, you're also gonna
You
need
know,
something circle.
something. Oh, circle.
Circle.
I love that you just the last statement you said. That's something that I share with my clients, whether they're personal training or life coach clients. Is say we're talking about water. I always tell them get a water bottle that makes you want to drink out of it. Or if it's journaling, get a journal or a notebook that's fun that makes you want to pick it up and be inside of it. And so I love that you just said that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so like it's very much I want to fill this book and I'm excited to have it and it's just rustic and just so
It's
awesome.
gorgeous. We must get me
Yeah.
one or something akin to it.
You do have something akin to it. Your little notebook journal.
But it's true, but I don't think the watercolor in that.
I don't think that one is for water. Oh, you mean like a watercolor thing, like that
Yeah,
one. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Got it. All right, we're gonna start with our Sharpie. You want to look at your page and here's your center line. You want to imagine 3 sections. So we're gonna start on
See,
the
that's
top.
where you start freaking my brain out when you're like, because then it's like, oh, perfect. It's got to do it perfectly.
Nope.
I know, I know. I have to just get to remind it that it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, this one is just we're gonna make some nice smooth waves and they can overlap a little
Are you
bit.
are you doing it on the top? Okay, wait. You said do it in thirds.
Yep.
You
So
started at the
this here, we're gonna leave it blank. And then the rest we're gonna make some waves and they can overlap a little bit. You can't get this wrong. Like there's just no.
Are you sure?
Yep. And if you're getting it wrong, you're just trying too hard.
Could you be
There's
judging
no
if
way to get it wrong.
Are you laughing at me?
Never. Never laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Uh-huh.
I'm just making some fun waves. Up and down. Here we go. They can overlap. See here, I have my moments too where I overthink things like,
Are you
oh,
doing
I
the
made
whole
that.
page with grids? Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's all okay. We're just like my son. I have a 16-year-old son. We're just chilling. We're just chilling.
Oh my gosh, I can totally hear him say that.
Oh, I know. Some fun phrases from teenagers that I've learned in the last couple years. Out of pocket. I don't know if you've heard that one.
Out of pocket?
Out of pocket. When something is out of pocket, it's like something that's not like it just comes out of nowhere and doesn't make sense.
Wait,
What's the
weren't we
other one?
recently just talking about
Yeah, Jack said it was something was out of pocket. One of our what did you call them?
our soul siblings?
Our soul siblings. I was gonna call them soul guides, but I'm like, I thought we moved past that. So yeah, one of
Well,
our soul guides, our siblings.
man, I hope I don't have to color inside of each one of these because I made a lot of lines.
Oh, did you? Let me see.
No. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So something that you're no. It's you're gonna take your circle now. We're gonna go half. You can do it in the middle. You can do it off to the side, wherever feels good for you. I'm gonna go kind of in the middle and do like a half circle, just like this.
P.S. Is this the abstract one or the scene one?
The scene one.
She asked me to choose. I'm like, I don't know. I can't choose. Assign it something and let me choose between A and B.
And you totally did. So then we're gonna take a line and go straight out to the edge of the page. Oops. And my own perfectionistic parts want to be like, oh, you did that wrong. Way to go. But there is no wrong, so it's totally okay. That's not that's not how I had envisioned it, but that's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now the fun part.
Okay,
This is
I
like,
just want to acknowledge something. Did you just notice how really chill I'm being?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
you're not like, what are you doing now?
just
What?
that may be happening just a little bit inside, but hey, I just want to acknowledge I'm doing good.
Yeah, definitely. We need to celebrate those things. Okay, so now see these like, see how it V's here? We're gonna
Yeah,
make those V's like a U. And we're gonna fill in these V's.
I was gonna say,
With,
what if
and we're just gonna thicken some of these lines.
you don't have any V's? Oh,
Wherever lines intersect, you're gonna have a V. So like here, do you see what I mean? You thicken your lines.
you're doing it on both sides.
Yep.
Yep.
So like here. And then you can thicken the original line. This part here is like a super chill, calming thing. Once you get into it and you kind of get a sense of what you're doing, it becomes that way. So any V's
I
you just
just
want to make.
I just heard myself laugh at you and be like, "You are a liar."
Okay. Oh my gosh. That's okay. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, well, time out. Time out. You're doing all the V's?
Yeah.
There's a. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait. What was that, Jen?
I
It's
was
just,
doing good until then.
but look, you're just spending some time with your Sharpie, making little U's where the V's are. You want to thicken your lines.
Note to self:
Don't trust Leah.
don't maybe draw so many freaking lines.
It'll look cool when it's done. And you know what? You don't have to, Jen. Like the reality is,
Hey,
if
don't
you
tell me.
have,
Tell the watcher.
okay, the reality is, watcher, um, you don't have to do all the lines. It'll just add some texture and variety to your work, and it'll be interesting to look at. And it's just, it doesn't have to be uniform. There's no right and wrong. I might want to thicken some lines, I might not want to thicken other lines, and it's totally okay. I'm like, what about this V? Do I round out that V too? I think that's the part where like you just, I don't know, you just kind of let go into it and see what happens.
Is that kind of like surrender?
Oh my gosh, yes. I've been practicing that a lot this year.
I'm like, I believe I'm having a huge year of surrender.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
Totally.
has been an absolutely beautiful, brutal, I should say, experience.
Yeah.
Just in the process of learning, I thought I knew how to trust, and being in this process has taught me a whole new, holy cow.
Right.
Definitely lots
And
about myself.
and the whole trusting the not knowing piece. Like, because we're taught we got to know, we have to have the answers, we have to have a plan, everything has to be worked out. And my challenge with that is like, you can have everything so perfectly lined up, and then life comes in and is like, oh, you thought, oh, that's so sweet, no, we're going this way, love. Follow me.
Well, and I grew up actually believing I had all the answers, so
You
that
don't have
was
to
it was
have
a
all the
little
answers.
shocking to me.
I was at a funeral today, and it was, it just really has me in a space of like, what are our lives mean, and what are we doing with our lives, and how are we living them, and how are we interacting with people, and um, inspired a phone call with my dad, and um, just seeing him in different lights, you know, and I find it so interesting, like the childhood way that I see my dad versus like the teenager way I used to see my dad, and you know, baby adult way I see my dad, to, you know.
I'm like, can we give that a little context?
In what sense?
Just the so the person who doesn't watching who doesn't know your story can just it's a it's
Oh,
it's a not been a lot of contact, as of recent years, and it's not like she's
yeah,
just calling her dad. It's a courageous thing for her.
yeah. It's I my dad moved away probably about 20 years ago. He moved to Nicaragua, which is where I'm from. Our family came up here when I was, I don't know, 2 years old. So the he had his life here. Like we had a life here, and he struggled a lot with mental health, and just anxiety and depression, and that sort of thing. And um, yeah, it was a tumultuous growing up, and um, when my parents split up, he went to Nicaragua, and I didn't see him for many years. Um, I reached out to him. I don't know. It's one of those like God wink moments where um, I heard this song from my childhood, and I remember dancing when I was like 3 or 4 years old, with him, for him. It's a Madonna song, like a prayer, and then I hadn't thought or talked to him for a long time, and that song came on, and it was just like a flood of memories, and just wanting to reach out and connect with him again, and you know, just yeah, just go through all the motions of um, being estranged from your family for so long, and what that brings. Like I remember going through like a mourning process of like how my kids don't have their grandpa in their life, and stuff like that. So I mean, we've had some contact, but it's challenging when he lives far away, and there are all those feels. So it was just neat to connect with him today, and I was talking to Jen yesterday, and I just had this realization, like, oh my God, I'm so much like my dad. I never really thought of it that way, and just it was neat to have that realization, how without even thinking we carry a lot of our parents and our upbringing with us. So I'm not even sure how I got on this.
Because I asked you to give a little bit of context because you're like, yeah, I called my dad, like it was no big deal.
Yeah,
It was a big deal. Like it's a big.
yeah. Yeah, it was just nice to connect with him for a bit, and he lives in Nicaragua, so things are very tumultuous there. Um, it's just very unstable. So he was sharing some stuff about that, and asking about the kiddos, and it's so interesting, like how I don't know how we see him, how I see him, and yet I
How do you? What has changed for you? Because you guys can read about Leah's story in her book, Living Cleaning. What is it? Oh shoot,
living with
Living with
dirty
Dirty.
glasses.
Yeah. We'll put a link to where you can get that on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can read more of the story in there, but what did you like? What created that change for you?
Um,
Because
I really,
that's a big deal.
yeah. I spent a lot of time feeling wronged by my dad. And what I realized was I was looking at him through the lens of a child as an adult. I was still carrying the lens of a child. And I was still looking at him as wronged and hurt, you know, um, and still idolizing him as a child, and feeling like a disappointment that um, he wasn't there in the ways that I wanted him to be, or like, and I think the shift for me is just having experienced some life to recognize, oh, oh, okay, I see this a little differently, and I could see him as a person and not the figure that is my dad. Like how, because think of as kids, we look up to our parents, like literally, because they're so much bigger than us and they're powerful and they're all knowing, and it's I was still stuck on that view. So when I could see him as a person, like, I don't have all the answers for my kids. I've made some blunders with my kids, and had some life stuff happen that it humbles you. And I realized, like, we're all doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. Also recognizing not to excuse anything, or make not to excuse behavior or anything, but also recognizing how culture plays into that, and how what tools we have. Like, I was raised here in Canada, and I have resources, and I had people who believed in counseling and getting help, and just talking about your feelings. And he grew up in a very macho culture, so that's just not what you do. And he went through a lot of really challenging stuff, like when the country was in upheaval in the 80s, I think it was. My uncle was his older brother, who he was close with, was captured, tortured, and killed, and they never got the body back. And he also lost his mom at that age. And then he got married and brought his family to Canada, and didn't speak much English. And you're starting in a whole different country where the culture's different, where like, you don't have supports. Everyone is back home, plus the whole sunshine thing. Like, in Nicaragua, you're near the equator, so you always have sunshine. It's always warm, and then to experience winters. And I just got a whole different appreciation for his experience. And then I could ask myself, well, how would I handle that if I was in those shoes and I didn't feel I had support? So I think I just could see him as a human.
I like that you how you frame that of like, I was still looking at him through the eyes of a child who was hurt. And even though you've done a lot of work, that you recognize like, whoa, there's still some things, and that as you've done that work, you've been able to just see it with different perspective, and come to
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess it's the reality of his humanness, maybe.
Yeah. One, and just give him grace that he did the best he could, because he did a lot of good things too growing up. Like, he was a family man. Like, he's the one that taught me how to throw a baseball and play sports and go on really crazy long bike rides. He took us canoeing. Like, he always made these really great experiences for us. And um, there was a lot of good. But he was diagnosed with bipolar depression, so it very much felt like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, you weren't sure who you were gonna get, and that's challenging sometimes. And but I don't know. I think sometimes I tell people this, like, when I allow my head to direct me, I find that my head can hurt me, versus when I'm leading with my heart. I don't feel as endangered. I don't feel hurt by my by my heart the same ways that my head can hurt me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've just really been in that space of feeling a lot of gratitude for where I am. Um, After the funeral, I called some people, and just letting them know, thank you for being in my life, and I love you. And I was just super tender after that funeral, and just seeing family, and it was so beautiful. And um, just how his life was celebrated, and it just gets you thinking, how do I want my life to be celebrated? So, what kind of impact or legacy do I want to leave? And one of them is I hope that people will explore their creative side and give themselves permission to play in that space, because we all have it. It's whether we're going to engage it or not. And that would just be the greatest gift for me. How you doing, Jen?
Well, I mean, no, I'm doing lovely. No, I appreciate you sharing all of that. I love the I just love the perspective changes that we can have just, again, by doing our own work and learning to see people differently. Again, it's not excusing trauma. It's not, I don't want to say trauma, behaviors that may, possibly create trauma. I feel like trauma is a really big buzzword right now. Please don't hate me for saying that. It just is what it is. Um, but just that when we do our work, just how differently it's like climbing a mountain. It's part of why I like creating adventures for people, is bringing these concepts into an actual physical space. So I appreciate you sharing. And for the person who's joining us today, um, gosh, if you have your own story and you'd love to share that, we'd love to hear it, or what your experience has been. And we just celebrate you wherever you're at on your journeys, and recognize that we all have a journey, crazy sauce journeys, for the things that we came here to learn and that our souls want to learn.
Yeah.
And we just hugely honor and respect those, whatever they are.
I think when you can approach hard things from a lens of love, and it's not, again, like we talk about forgiveness and all that, but I think it's deeper than that. Like, I know I've had some challenging things to work through, and when sometimes when I would feel attacked by someone, but when I could see them through a lens of love and realize it's really not about me, but something that they're going through in their experience, that it just softens the whole feeling. Like it doesn't, I don't hold on to it. Um, I can just look at it and feel it differently than allow those daggers to hit me. Like, they just kind of fall away.
I love that. That's in there's something like that in the A Pema Children book,
Yes, that's right.
where she talks about that. I don't know. I don't think it was Buddha, but a monk who was learning those kinds of things, and he talks about being able to see the daggers coming, but
Yes, that's a reference.
letting them change and fall away like flowers. That's such a cool concept.
Yeah. Are you smoothing out the lines?
Am I supposed to be smoothing lines? What does that mean?
No, no. Like, I'm sorry. Are you? How are you doing, Jen?
I'm fabulous. This is. Oh wait, I was just gonna say, did you do some on the? You created lines on the sunshine.
I feel like I didn't do anything here. It's the first funeral I took my littles to, my
How
two
was
little
that?
boys. It was good. I didn't take them to the visitation portion, just because I don't like. I just have a thing with that. Um, and I took them to the funeral and taking them, like, the service. I mean, so it was really good. it was good for them to, it was their friend's grandpa that passed. So just understanding some of that process, and it was just interesting to hear how they talked about, you know, my youngest was angry at some points. Like he thought, how unfair is it that his grandpa is 92 and their grandpa was 78. He still had a lot of time left, and he just had a lot of anger around that. And
It's pretty cool that they recognize that.
yeah, and it's challenging sometimes, like to try and explain some of that to kids, and why some people live longer than others. And but
Okay,
they
this is what mine looks like.
oh, that's so fun. I love it. So fun. I like how you have the little ones in between.
The what?
Very cool. Like you have, it looks almost like bubbles.
Oh, I love bubbles.
Yes. Okay, so the next part, I think I'm gonna do a bunch of different blues. Because it's water, you want to leave some of these spots
Oh, this
white.
is water.
Yeah. So this is the sunshine at the top, and this is all the waves and water. So my marker's running out. So you can do a variety of different blues. Pick a circle or two, and make it them blue. Leave some white spots, and just kind of go with it and see what happens.
Wow, that was some sweet instruction right there.
Yep. So I'm just gonna pick a spot here. I'm gonna drop the water in first. You don't have to. You can see what happens. So this one, I drop the water in first, and you can see it start to move on its own. This one, I'm just gonna drop it in. I just have it on my brush. And I'll just put different blues, or this blue in different spots, I should say. It doesn't have to be uniform. Like, see, this one it'll have some texture because I have some white spots within that. I'm not going to fill that in because I like the look of it. And then it gives the painting some movement.
Again, I love how yours blooms. Mine still doesn't necessarily bloom. It just blobs.
It blobs.
But when it does, it's pretty cool.
When it blobs?
No, when it blooms.
Oh. So sometimes it blooms, but mostly it blobs.
I really think it's my paper.
Yeah, that could be a very possible thing. Although, I don't know.
I mean, let's be real, it could be the function of the user.
No, I don't. I think it's the paints. It's usually the paints and the paper.
Like
That's
you gave me the paints, the second one, the second batch, so we know they're good.
Is that the tray?
Yeah.
Okay. Look how fun that is already. So cool. Love it. Just love it. Yeah. I don't know. When you've been to funerals, what how do you like how do you work through some of that? I haven't been to one in a long time.
Some of what?
I don't know, just some of the feels that come with going to a funeral.
Um well, I grew up in a religion that tells us, we definitely will see our family again or friends or whatever. Um how do I work through it? I just honestly, that's a tough question. Never thought about that. Um, I just think I allow myself to feel like I don't I don't try to be, and I'm like super tender. I cry at everything. Like when people joke about crying at marching bands or the opening of, I literally do that. Like that's just part of who I am. I'm really tender that way. Funerals can be really challenging because I'm a feeler, so I feel all the feels, and so I actually have to like I like shield up before I go. So I just give myself a little energy boost before I go, and so that I can not be completely a mess when I'm at them. But
Mhm.
um, I really think part of it is I just allow myself to feel, and I do my best not to judge it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, let's be real, that can be challenging.
Yeah.
Whoa, that one kind of blossomed. What? Why now?
Sometimes it's a water thing, Jen. Sometimes it's just how much water you're applying, how much paint you have on your brush. It could be a variety of things. So if you've gotten blooms before, it's just, excuse me, it's just still learning um, how much water to put down, paint stuff. Yeah. See, I put a bunch more water on that one, and that one bloomed more. But it's a fine line because you don't want you don't want it to be way too much water because then that just makes a big mess.
I think that's my thing is if the places that have bloomed have a fair amount of water in them.
Yeah, yeah. It needs to be able to move through the water.
Like more than I would like because it creates puddles.
Mm, it's so cool. I think funerals make me think of we've been kind of talking about regrets, and I think when you're at that point and you think of like you look back on your life and what are the things that you wish you would have done and what you don't want to go with blah, 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 blah. Let me try that again. You don't
Oh,
want to go with
oh my gosh.
regret
I
in your
just
heart.
about I just about put my brush in my cinemate.
Yep, that's common. That's very common.
That that was a close call.
That's hilarious.
No.
That is trademark artist, I'm telling you.
What? I'm an artist?
Hell yeah,
What? What? Oh
for
shoot.
sure.
Well, I got it to bleed, but not where I wanted it to, but that's okay.
Gotta love that.
Bleed, baby, bleed. Let's see what this color does. Oh! See, I love it when it does it. It's like so cool.
Did it do the blossom?
Yeah.
So cool. I love it.
I totally have my heater on under my desk because it's like 50 degree. I think it hit 50 degrees here today.
Oh,
Yesterday,
dang.
yesterday was 75.
Oh wow. That's such a jump.
Yeah, tell me about it. Very much large jump.
Crazy sauce in Idaho.
I would imagine the mountains are getting some snow. Whoops, whoops. Oh well. See how I just flowed with that?
Yep, that's right.
Oops, oops, oops.
Reminds me of the marshmallow. Pushing the marshmallow up the hill.
The what?
Exciting love, the marshmallow. I don't know when I, I get this visual of pushing a giant marshmallow up the hill and trying to get all the squishy parts to go in the direction that you want, and you think you're getting some progress, and then it starts sagging on the left and you're trying to adjust for that, and I don't know, it's just a weird visual. Yeah.
I've never quite heard that before.
It's like, how like people say sometimes things feel like an uphill battle,
Yeah.
but it's like you're pushing a rock up a hill. For me, it's a marshmallow. Because I think like a rock, when you're pushing, this is so dumb. When you're pushing up a big solid rock, it implies like you just have to be strong enough to push that big rock up the hill. But when you're pushing up a marshmallow up a hill, a big giant, saggy marshmallow, it takes a little more finesse and problem solving and awkwardness and messiness, and you're going to get covered in marshmallow goop, and it's gonna, if it gets too hot, it's gonna go melty, and if it
Did you just say marshmallow goop?
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
totally did. So there's that.
Wow.
Is that a good wow, or like?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's fair.
I'm really trying to just keep my eyes on my own paper.
Right.
I do
I
like
mean,
this
what would it?
color
Huh?
though. I said I do
What?
like this color though.
The blues?
The color blue that I'm using. I like it.
Is it a darker blue?
No, actually. It is not.
Now I'm curious which one it is.
In the tray, it kind of looks like robin egg blue.
Oh. Robin egg blue.
Oh,
Remember to leave some white spots though.
okay.
Did you remember that part? Or you don't even have to leave like a full blob white if you don't want. You can just do like um leave the top part of it white, so it kind of looks like a cap or something, or you just color, the center part and leave the outsides. I don't know, there's lots of options. There's no wrong answer. It all looks cool in the end. I'm really excited to see yours with the little bubbles in it. I thought that was so cool. Oh, I missed a V. Dang it. It's so funny. You start looking at it. You want to pick it apart. But then it's like, no regrets. Go with it. Gave it your go here.
So funny. This color I'm putting on now, I totally thought was going to be dark, and it is not.
No. So, like, is it bright?
No.
Is that word cryptic? Are you being cryptic again?
I'm not being cryptic.
I think I've got enough blues in mine. How's yours coming?
It's coming.
It's funny, I can almost see it better looking at it from the screen than looking at my own paper.
Oh yeah. You know what I love about what we're doing? I know you're on mute. I'm talking to the crowd. Is that this is live? It's live, and we just bring it to you as we have it. And so we just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up, and however you're showing up, and giving space for us to show up how we get to show up.
Right? Like where does it go?
I feel like
Say that again?
I'm kind of sorry. I'm kind of talking to
No,
myself.
no. No, no, that's a good thing. I'm pulling that out for a reason.
I was just saying. Oh, I feel like I, I have some big like spaces. I thought maybe I should fill in some of those.
But isn't it neat that you can start to feel what you need to do? You don't need to know exactly what needs to be
Yeah,
done. You can just feel it by
yeah,
looking at it.
yeah. I don't know that I'd say I could. It's yeah. Uh huh.
Okay, what did that mean?
It means I can't say that I was that I that that's what I'm feeling, but okay.
But
Oh, I
you
missed.
seen something, and that what you can do with that. That you want to fill in those spaces because of how it's looking. No,
Yeah, there's just a lot of white space still. Is what I'm thinking.
okay. But it's just because you're noticing that, like you don't need to know exactly what it's supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to look like. You can get a sense of that. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
I'm just starting my sun, putting in some yellow, and so it's not flat. I'm going to put in a bit of orange. You can also put pink and yellow make a really vibrant orange, which is fun. Color mixing 101. I think I'm actually going to put some pink in. Oh, that was a lot darker than I expected. That's okay. The cool thing about watercolors is I can, squeeze out the water from my brush and then go over it again, and I can lighten that right up. So I don't have the big chunk of intense color in that one spot. You can go in with some orange. See how it brightens that a little bit. You can do reds
Oh,
here, whatever makes you feel like sunshine. This one I kind of like that it bleeds into each other. You don't need to do it that way. I love that. I'll do a little more. The pink, actually. So I get a more of a wash to it. You can spread this out. All I did here is get some water just to kind of spread out the color I laid down. Then I'll go in with my pink around the edges, but I want the most of it to be.
OMG. Okay.
Oh, what happened? Did I
Not
get too?
you're nothing.
It's okay. So here I'm just going to take the pink while it's wet. See how it kind of spreads out. I'm just going along the line. You don't need to do it this way. This is just something I wanted to experiment with. But I like how it spreads, so. I'm gonna add a little water in some spots where it might have been a little drier. Maybe even do it along here. Then it looks like the sun is radiating. It's beautiful rays. It's a little drier there. It's okay. Yay. I'm going to do it along the water line. There. So how are you finding this one, Jen?
I was just gonna say, what do you do when your mind starts to want to be bored with what you're doing?
Bored with what you're doing?
I don't know if that's an escape tactic. Like I'm feeling it out for myself. Like is that a huh? Or sometimes it's this is taking too long. So like for someone who has maybe whoops some attention stuff, like how do you what would you recommend? Like if this is we're at 51 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So someone who's like, oh my gosh, I don't know that I want to keep doing this. I'm kind of bored with it. I'm not saying I'm bored with it. I'm just noticing some of that stuff want to come in, which could just be an escape tactic for my mind.
I mean, you can always step away from it. Sometimes I think it's less boredom and more overwhelm, and just feeling like it's going to take too long, and it feels like you're not making the progress that you think you should be. I don't know. I what would I recommend? I appreciate the checking in. Like, is that I'm not sure, Jen. Actually, I think in those spaces for me, it's overwhelm. When I've had a really big painting, and there's a technique that I'm using, um, and sometimes you just do need a break. And if it's not something, for me in those spaces, it's probably that I haven't had enough movement in that day. I could be tired. I could be just not feeling well, or I could just not be feeling the activity. And it's not, you don't want to be doing if it's not something that you're feeling is enjoyable. Or you could just need a drink and go get yourself a glass of water and get up and move and come back to it if you want, or put it aside for another day. That's one thing I do a lot with bigger pieces is you can't be working on it all the time. I did one that probably took me, I don't know, 40 hours. There's just a lot of detail and a lot of steps to it, and I couldn't do that in 1 week. Like, it took some time to get through that one. So you got to feel it out and do what's right for you. And yeah, I don't know if that's helpful to you in this moment.
I was hypothetically saying that.
Mm.
No, I just felt some of that come into my mind. I'm sure it's like I say. That's what I say. I'm just feeling out. Is that an escape tactic? Is that what's my mind? What's my mind trying to protect me from? Or am I really just needing to just keep going forward and
Yeah. In my experience, it's an overwhelm. Like there's just too many. And when you had made those lines and you said, I hope we don't have to go over all these lines because I made a lot of them. It can feel like a lot, and to get all the parts to it. And it can feel tedious at times. Some of that to get the effect that you want. I don't know. Take a break, shift a color. Could be anything. Is it a birthday painting?
Oh my gosh.
So that's our sunset watercolor painting.
Like I just, gosh.
What happened?
Now nothing. Now it's just creating a mess.
Ooh, messes are fun.
Really?
Yeah, there's lots to be learned in the mess. You're just having a marshmallow moment.
Wow.
Full circle.
My pink is bleh.
Are you talking about that it mixed with another color?
No, it's not. It looks like shiz. Cause it won't bleed. It doesn't.
Oh, along the edges?
Oh.
Try adding some water to it.
Yeah, I did that. We're just gonna figure something else out. Hold on.
I think that's the cool thing about when you do these paintings, Jen, is you make comments like that throughout it, and then you show it at the end. I'm like, dang, that turned out really, really good and really fun, and it has character to it, and I love that.
It's gonna have character.
It does, though. It's not like when you say things like, "Oh my God, it's such a mess." I'm imagining like a big muddy puddle.
Nope. That's what. No,
Face.
really, that's what this looks like. Legit. And I'm not sure how to save it.
Paper towel is always a good friend.
I have been. I am. Look. Seriously, I'm having a moment. Oh,
it's okay. Happy moment.
I am right here where everyone can see it.
Yay! Because it's live and unscripted, so you're gonna let your creative unravel here. Any other taglines I should put in there?
Funny.
Yeah.
What did you say?
About letting your creative unravel?
Oh yeah, it's definitely unraveling.
Yeah.
I'm honestly feeling what's interesting is I'm feeling my mind want to unravel, and parts of it are like, yeah, whatever. It's just paint.
Yeah. There's nothing about you or your abilities or how you are. It says your worth or nothing. Like it's just paint. Like you tell me, it's just a thing.
Wow. This is definitely just a thing. I think it's interesting because this paper is sometimes it's almost like it has oil on it. So like when I go back over to try and get it to do something, it repels. It's almost like it repels the water, and it's so fascinating and annoying. Come on, do your thing.
Yeah, it can very much be the paper. You want like 100.
I got one more. I got a little bit of blue still to do here.
Cold pressed paper is really good.
This
absorbent.
I believe this is cold pressed paper.
It's 150 or 140-pound press.
It's 140. Maybe it's. Yeah, it is cold pressed paper.
Yeah. Yeah, it could just be the brand. It could be because that's what I usually use, but I do know like some brands are still more thirstier than others. This one that like my book is a handmade cotton paper thing. Um, so it's very absorbent. I don't know. Every paper is different. Every brand's different. So you kind of experiment with it until you find the one that really works for you. But again, start with what you have and where you're at, and play around with it. But definitely, it can be frustrating sometimes, especially when it feels like a lottery game. Like, oh, is this paper going to do what I want it to do today, and or is it not?
Yeah. Yep. Feel like that. Which honestly, I actually can't say that because I'm like, I never have any idea what it's going to do. So Leah
Well,
today asked me if I wanted to do, I have got to drink this cinemate because I'm going to end up with my paintbrush in it.
yeah.
She's like, do you want to do a scene or an abstract? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's all going to look like abstract for me. So just give me A or B.
Okay. Yeah. It was going to be similar. The other one was you make a dot about a third down of the page, and then you make squiggles down the page, but they all have to intersect through the dot. So it's and then you paint those. You do round the corners. It's the same kind of thing, just more abstract.
Okay. So, for those of you who are watching or participating, just a reminder that we do have an art gallery on the
Yeah.
Righteous Rebel Facebook group page, and we would love to see. We would love to invite you to put your art in there, no matter what it looks like. My art is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is. It's all art. I'm not going to judge it. I was going to say some is better than others, but it's not true. I'm just
Yeah.
moving through this. So put your art in. Let us celebrate like where you're at.
And
Also,
it doesn't have to be what these lives are. It could be whatever
yeah,
you're creating in your
yeah,
world.
whatever you're creating. And I also would love to. Leah, it might be fun to do because we always say to people, "Oh, put in the comments how it made you feel, like what your process is." This would be really fun to actually invite. Like, let's have a Zoom meeting and we invite people to the call about like what their process. Let's talk about that as a group. Let's really make this. Let's normalize these feelings of being human and being in a process of starting something new or making mistakes or overcoming perfectionism or whatever it is so that we're not ashamed or afraid to talk about it or to post our work no matter what it looks like. um, I think that could be a super fun conversation. And if you're watching or you're going to watch the replay, let us know if you'd be interested in something like that, and we'll put it together. I love our live get-togethers, whether we're face to face or we're like this. So yeah, that's the Righteous Rebels Facebook group. Just
Yeah.
P.S. There is a the Righteous Rebels Facebook page. We don't post there. That was created for a different intent. And if you want all the goods about like our river trip or our upcoming 100-day challenge, or you want to go back and see the de-stress with watercolor, all that stuff is on there, along with links to like the books that we have. Look, in fact, while we're right here, let's just do it. Speaking of being creative, this is the first thing we created. It's our My Revelations journal. Absolutely fun, amazing.
Super fun book.
Um,
Lots of prompts in it.
we'll go back and put that in the comments. This is Leah's book we were talking about earlier, Living with Dirty Glasses, where you can hear the story of why calling your dad was such an awesome thing today. And then her second one came out about a year ago almost. Remember When.
Yeah.
This is a really cool book. If you've got elderly family members or family members who may be going through some kind of memory process, and you don't know what to ask, that book is full of all kinds of beautiful prompts and beautiful pictures and pages. So we'll make sure that you know how to get those.
Yeah, for sure.
On the Righteous Rebels Facebook group. Okay, here we go. The big reveal.
I love it. Oh my, I love the little bubbles. Like for real. I just the way that you cross them and because mine doesn't have that, and I love how yours has a lot of the little bubbles along the bottom, or even along the middle. That's so cool. I love it. I'm not sure what your mess is, but it looks fantastic.
Well, no, well, if you were looking at it as close as I can, like I love how yours bled in your up through here.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be a skill like that. Just honestly, when you're right here, it looks like a bunch of jizz. But through the camera, I'm sure it looks okay. Again, it's the practice of knowing how to, is it the paper? Is it how I applied it and the water? And so it's just learning, and I'm gonna be okay with it because I did it.
Yeah, that's right. You showed up, you put the paint on the paper, and you tried something. You learned something new in the process,
Yes,
right?
I did. I learned that little bubbles
And
are
you were
cool.
brave and you showed it, even though it didn't feel like super like, yay, I want to show it, but you did. And
Yeah,
that's huge.
yeah. I want to acknowledge. We have a few live watchers or that have been here that I can see anyway. So that again, shout out to the birthday girl, Shawnee Scow has been watching. Sherry Freeman has been watching, along with Julie Reinwald. Hey, cuz, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Julie is an amazing soul, artistically. She's a quilter, and dang, she's a homemaker by way of, like, when I say that, um, like canning, and I have she's given me lilac syrup and things like that. So Julia, thanks for joining us, and always sharing your creative abilities with us as well. And you know what, Sherry, I have a rock on my counter on a table that one time many years ago Sherry painted a rock for me. So thank you, Sherry, for sharing your abilities. Um, and to those of you who watched it on the replay, again, thank you for sharing your time with us, and being brave and jumping in and doing the art yourself, and then pinning it into the art gallery on the Righteous Rebels Facebook group page. So, again, watch for our 100-day challenge coming up. We decided the middle of October. It's very
October 15th.
very intentional. We'll let you know why as we move into getting closer to that date. Also, registration for our 2024 Surviving Life and Leadership River Retreat. Oh my gosh, ladies, you got to be a part of that. I know we haven't shared very much about it, and part of that is because we haven't really known how, because it was such an amazing, expansive, spiritual experience,
Sacred.
sacred. So we are going to start posting about that so that you have more. But it's $500. Hold your spot. Then 2 more payments. Last payment due June 1st. I think it's June 1st. Um, it's an investment in yourself. We just want to acknowledge that, and we also want to make it as easy for you as possible. So $500. Hold your spot. Get registered ASAP, because those spots are going to go. We would love to have you be on that experience with us next year. Leah, take us out. Last thoughts.
Last thoughts. Just remember, keep showing up and doing the things that are uncomfortable, but also that kind of pique your curiosity. If it piques your curiosity, it's your soul, your mind, your heart is trying to say something to you, and it's something that's worth exploring. But it can be scary, and I just invite you to lean into that and see where it can take you. Show up.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for guiding us through another creative unraveling.
Yes.
and allowing that process to take place. So until next time, next live should probably be Tuesday Adventure. If you're new to the page, we do Tuesday Adventures live. We have our live and unscripted podcast, video cast on Wednesdays, and then creative live on Thursdays. So we look forward to having you join us again soon. And until then, be bold,
Bold.
be brave,
Be brave.
be
Be a rebel.
rebel. Yep. One day, so much
You
easier.
paused. You
All right.
paused. Don't pause.
Have an amazing
You
rest
had
of
that
your day,
one.
wherever you're at, and we love you, and we'll see you soon.